You've been told that if you cry easily, something is wrong with you. That strength would mean swallowing it. That control would mean feeling less. And at some point, you probably started believing it. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people never tell you. The people who cry easily are often the ones who perceive reality first. In this video, you'll understand why tears appear before words, why your body reacts before your mind has permission, and why this trait was never meant to be fixed, trained away, or hardened. If you've ever felt embarrassed by how deeply you feel, if you've wondered why life seems louder, heavier, or more intense for you than for others, this isn't reassurance, it's an explanation. And once you hear it, you won't be able to go back to seeing yourself the same way again. Chapter 1. The Man Who Apologized for Feeling. Elias had a talent for looking fine. He could hold his face steady while something inside him shook. He could keep his voice calm while his throat tightened. He could nod through a conversation while absorbing every hint of disappointment in the room. And when the tears came, he hated himself for it, because he wasn't trying to make a point. He wasn't trying to be seen. It just happened. At work, he once received mild feedback from a manager who spoke in polite sentences. Nobody in the room seemed bothered. People even smiled. Elias smiled too, but his eyes watered anyway, as if his body had understood the meaning behind the tone before his pride could stop it. Afterwards, someone said, half joking, "You take things too personally." Elias nodded like it was fair. For a long time, he believed the common diagnosis, too sensitive. But too sensitive is a lazy sentence. It's what people say when they don't know how to describe a system that notices what they can't. And that is the first truth. Elias didn't feel too much. He detected too much. What if the thing you're trying to fix is actually the part of you that's been reading reality correctly? Chapter 2. The Brain That Refuses to Ignore. Elias experienced the world like a room with the volume turned slightly too high. The hum of a fridge, a flickering light, the texture of a chair, a subtle shift in someone's mood. None of it stayed in the background. His mind treated it all as relevant, even when he wished it wouldn't. Neuroscience has a phrase for this kind of openness: low latent inhibition. Most brains filter aggressively. They discard the majority of sensory input so the person can stay efficient and focused. It's not a moral strength, it's simply a design choice. But Elias's filter was thinner. That meant the world hit him with more detail, more texture, more emotional information at once. So yes, he could become overwhelmed faster. He could need silence sooner. He could hit his limit while others kept going. Yet the same trait also made him notice patterns people missed. He could sense when a conversation was drifting toward conflict before the first sharp word appeared. He could feel when something off in a plan would become a problem later. He could spot beauty in places most people walked past like it wasn't there. He wasn't broken, he was tuned differently. And once you see that, you can't unsee the next question. If your nervous system is taking in more than most, what happens when you keep forcing yourself to live like you aren't? Chapter 3. When Other People's Emotions Become Yours. Elias didn't just empathize, he absorbed. When a friend sat across from him with a fine smile and eyes that didn't match it, Elias felt it instantly in his chest, like a pressure moving through his ribs. He didn't need a confession. His body already had the message. This is where mirror neurons enter the story, because the brain is not only built to understand other humans, it's built to simulate them. We feel each other in small, quiet ways. In Elias, that simulation ran louder. He could tell when someone was anxious not because he analyzed them, but because his own breathing changed. He could tell when someone carried grief because his own throat tightened. His system mirrored emotional states so quickly that the tears sometimes arrived before he even knew what he was reacting to. And that is why people who cry easily often feel misunderstood. From the outside, it looks like overreaction. From the inside, it feels like honesty. The body is responding to what it senses, not to what polite society permits. Stoicism never asked for numbness, it asked for discernment. Elias was never lacking strength, he was lacking a framework. Because when you are built like an emotional antenna, you need something most people never learn: boundaries that protect your gift without turning you into stone. If empathy can move through you this fast, how do you keep it from draining you completely? Chapter 4. The pause that looks like hesitation. Elias often paused before he spoke. Not because he didn't know what to say, but because he felt the weight of what words could do. Some people talk like tossing pebbles. Elias spoke like placing stones. His mind ran deeper routes. Psychologists call it depth of processing. The tendency to encode meaning thoroughly, to connect present moments with past memories, to model future outcomes before making a choice. When it's happening inside you, it doesn't feel like overthinking. It feels like awareness doing its job. In meetings, while others answered quickly, Elias could sense what wasn't being said. He noticed the fear behind someone's confidence, the hidden tension under a cheerful tone, the unspoken risk behind an optimistic plan. And then he hesitated, because he didn't want to add noise, he wanted to add truth. But modern culture rewards speed, so his care looked like weakness to people who confuse immediacy with intelligence. The irony is that his slowness wasn't a lack of strength, it was an excess of responsibility. What if the pause you resent is the part of you that refuses to lie, even when lying would be easier? Chapter 5. Why evolution kept the ones who feel. If sensitivity were merely a disadvantage, it would not have survived. Evolution is not sentimental, it keeps what works. And people like Elias, those who notice more, feel faster, process deeper, have always existed, which means the trait carried value long before modern life labeled it a weakness. In early groups, the bold and fearless were essential. Hunters, fighters, risk-takers. The tribe needed them. But a tribe of only warriors would die. Someone had to read the weather. Someone had to sense the shift in a rival group's intentions. Someone had to interpret the subtle signs before danger became obvious. Elias wasn't built to charge first. He was built to detect first. In another era, he might have been the advisor who saved lives not by fighting, but by noticing what others missed. Today, the world is loud, fast, and competitive, built for the warriors. That's why Elias felt out of place. But being out of place isn't the same as being without value. Sometimes it just means the environment forgot what you're for. And that evolutionary difference doesn't disappear in modern life. It simply shows up in a different form. So if your nervous system is an early warning system, what happens when you keep treating it like a defect? Chapter 6. Dandelions and Orchids. Most people are like dandelions. They grow through cracks in sidewalks. They adapt to noise, indifference, and pressure. They survive almost anywhere. This dandelion-orchid metaphor comes from sensitivity research in developmental psychology, used to describe how different nervous systems respond to environment. Elias was an orchid. In harsh environments, he drained faster. In chaotic rooms, his mind overheated. In toxic relationships, he didn't just feel sad, he felt scrambled, as if his internal wiring was being pulled apart. For years, he blamed himself for not being a dandelion. He thought resilience meant enduring anything without change. Then he found the orchid truth: vantage sensitivity. Some people are more affected by negative environments, yes, but they are also more elevated by positive ones. When an orchid is placed in the right conditions, right light, right soil, right space, it doesn't merely catch up. It blooms with complexity that a dandelion will never need to develop. Elias didn't need to toughen up, he needed to choose better conditions, and that's a different kind of strength. Not forcing yourself to survive everywhere, but refusing to stay where you shrink. If your sensitivity can make you wither in the wrong place, what might it allow you to become in the right one? Chapter 7. Stoic strength is not emotional absence. Stoicism gets misquoted as emotional coldness. It isn't. The Stoic does not aim to feel nothing. He aims to be ruled by nothing. Elias began to treat tears as data, not as shame. When he cried, he stopped asking, "What's wrong with me?" and started asking, "What did I perceive that my mind hasn't articulated yet?" Sometimes tears were a sign of exhaustion. Sometimes they were grief finally surfacing. Sometimes they were the body releasing tension the mind refused to admit. He didn't become softer, he became clearer. He built boundaries, not walls. He honored silence without disappearing. He stopped trying to install a tougher filter in a system that was never designed for numbness. The world already has enough people who don't feel. It does not need more. It needs people who can feel without drowning. So if your tears aren't weakness, what would it look like to protect them as a form of intelligence? Chapter 8. Why people who cry easily often disappear. Elias noticed one more pattern. Online, he watched more than he posted. He read more than he replied. He visited the noise and then stepped back, as if his mind had a built-in warning light that others never saw. To outsiders, that looked like insecurity, like avoidance, but it wasn't. When you process deeply, constant stimulation becomes expensive, and when your mirror system picks up emotions easily, a feed filled with outrage, envy, and performance isn't entertainment, it's exposure. So Elias reduced input, not because he was afraid, because he was disciplined, and that's where the truth lands suddenly, without ceremony. If you cry easily, it doesn't mean you are weak. It means your system registers reality sooner. It means your body refuses to pretend. You were never broken. You were never too much. You were just designed to feel first. And when you finally stop fighting that design, life doesn't get louder, it gets clearer. And that clarity can become one of the calmest strengths you'll ever carry.